Russian heavy tank, the Kv1. This is the first heavy tank you encounter on the Russians, and it comes from the decent T-28. Now I was going to talk about the T-28, but no, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here for the Kv1. So let's look at the stats of the fully upgraded Kv1. 770 hit points. It has the lowest amount of hit points out of all the heavy tanks for tier 5, but only by 10. Like the T1 Heavy has 780, and so does the VK3001H. So it's not by that much. And I do find this is a really good tank. So yeah, 770 hit points. Now the whole armor doesn't seem that good. 75 millimeters. If we take a look at the T1 Heavy, the T1 Heavy has 83 millimeters of armor. Now that may not seem like that much more, and in all reality it isn't too much, because the sloping on the Kv1 is quite good. If you take a look at the sloping, you can just kind of imagine the angle it's at. It's at a very good angle, and usually the only way to penetrate it is to go on that top, almost unangled part where the machine gun port is, the driver's viewport, and the headlight is. There is a little periscope, like right between the light and the driver's viewport. It is very small. Good luck hitting it. The turret, well armored. The sides have the same amount of armor as the front, which is very handy for side scraping. And the back also has a pretty decent 70 millimeters of armor. So the armor is quite consistent. And the turret, it is a tough nut to crack. So if we take a look at the turret, 110 millimeters all around. And if we go to the IS, its upgraded turret only has 100 millimeters. So you can imagine how tough this turret is. And it's not necessarily that it's a thick turret, it's just rounded quite well. Now, let's go into the guns and the research path. Weight, 50 tons. I don't think it weighs as much as the KV or the T1 Heavy, but it is quite heavy. 500 horsepower. It could be better, but I do find it's quite maneuverable, kind of like the fully upgraded T1 Heavy. Traverse speed 20 degrees per second, slower than the T1 Heavy, but it's okay. It's a heavy tank, and the turret traverse, what do you expect? It's a heavy tank, 24 degrees per second. So let's take a look at the upgrade path and the guns. So when you first get this tank, it doesn't suck as bad as the T1 Heavy when it's stock, but it sucks pretty bad. So you are going to have technically a top engine from the T28. You're going to have this engine, and it has 500 horsepower. So you have that one. And then if you see, you upgrade, you don't get any maneuverability bonuses. So what do you get? You just get less chance of fire. And that's it. Same horsepower. So the engine problem isn't really a problem. The tracks, on the other hand, 18 degrees per second. The 2 degrees per second is quite helpful. The gun sucks. The gun absolutely sucks. It has an okay rate of fire. The gun just sucks. Average damage 160, not that good. The average penetration of 86 millimeters isn't that good. The APCR is still less than the Top Gun's normal AP penetration. So it's not that good. So the first gun you probably want to get is the 57mm gun. That's an okay gun. The only thing I don't like about it is it's not nearly a heavy tank gun. Look at that rate of fire. Nearly 20 rounds a minute. And 112 penetration. The penetration's okay. But this is a just keep shooting and don't ever stop gun. The aim time's okay, could be better. The dispersion is okay, it was actually pretty accurate. And the view range has nothing to do with the gun. So yeah. So what you want to do is you want to unlock. Okay, so when you first get the tank, here's what you're going to want to do. Obviously mount that engine because you're going to have it. And then as soon as you get enough experience points, get the 57mm, get the tracks, get the turret, get the gun, then finally get the last engine, and if you want to, then get the derp gun. The derp gun's okay, I don't like it. It's a derp gun, I don't really care for them. So yeah, the aim time's okay on the derp gun, it's just a derp gun and I don't like it. So the derp gun, obviously ridiculous damage, but low penetration. Okay penetration, high rate of fire. What? Sorry, messed that up really bad, sorry about that. So, high damage, low penetration, and low rate of fire. Low damage, high rate of fire, and okay penetration. And this is more of a mix between the two. Highest penetration, damage is in between, and decent rate of fire. So, all in all, I really like this gun. The 85mm is what you want. So that's the upgrade path. So let's go for ammunition and equipment. This is what I run for ammunition. 61 AP, 15 HE. You're never gonna run out of ammo in this tank, ever. If you do, your team really sucks, and you really should stop playing if you had that bad luck. So let's go to equipment. I run the standard vents, rammer, and gun lane drive. The aim time's okay, could be better. You can never go wrong with gun rammer. And vents, it just helps everything. For consumables, I run the usual fire extinguisher, repair kit, and first aid kit. And that's about it for the external stuff. As for weak spots on the tank, driver's viewport, those two periscopes on top, that periscope right there, and the lower glacis is kind of hard to penetrate, but it can be penetrated easier. The tracks eat up a bunch of stuff, and I do find that if you plant a shot like where those square blocks are right there into the tank, it has a pretty good chance of catching on fire. The ammo rack, I believe, is in the back of the turret, so shoot there if you want to try ammo racking. And tracking this thing is really easy, but that's a good thing because you get a bunch of no penetration hits, a bunch of bounces, very good for side scraping. And you can reverse side scrape very well because of the 70mm in the back here. So without further ado, let's get into a battle with the wonderful Kv1 Tier 5 Russian heavy medium tank. I have found that ever since the update, since the matchmaking has been much better for the Tier 3s and 4s, top Tier 5 matches aren't too common. But the Kv1 can hold its own quite well in higher tier battles.